Hey, what's up humans? Welcome back to my channel. Today I have this fantastic piece of crystal Ethiopian opal here, and it looks like there's some really good honeycomb inside, so I'm really excited to cut this one. I've had it set aside for a while. When we shine a flashlight through it, you can see it's very clean inside. There's very little dirt, just a couple of spots, and the biggest problems with shaping this is going to be those divots in the face and the thin side of it. When we measure it out, it measures 19 by 14 by 9 millimeters. So there's definitely a big stone in there for us to shape. When we weigh it out, the size of it is 10.64 carats, so definitely something to work with here. If you guys want to see how this stone gets shaped and kind of how it turns out when it's finished, go ahead and keep on watching. So I was trying to kind of get a game plan here for you, but I accidentally forgot to turn on my camera. So these lines on the side kind of indicate the highest dome that I think it'll be, and I drew circles on the back and the face of it to kind of indicate the shape that I think that I'll be able to get out of it, and about all the sides that will have to go. So as you can see, this thin side here, that's gonna have to come in a lot, but the other side also has a divot in it, so that side will have to be brought in as well. The height of the dome is probably, I mean, it's gonna be this tall max on either side. So I just wanted to get sort of a game plan going so you guys can see kind of what my thought process is. So starting out on my 800 grit diamond bit here, I'm starting with grinding down that thin side of the opal. Since I want to try to get a nice high dome on this, I really need to bring in that side as well as the other side that has the divots in it as much as possible. So the top and bottom of the stone, when we're looking at the face of it, are both pretty thick, so I really need to mostly just work on bringing in those sides. We don't really have like a whole lot of dirt to worry about, but I definitely want to get this into a nice thick puck for us to be able to shape something out of it. Now there's definitely one side of the stone that is thicker than the other as far as the top and the bottom goes, and the thicker side is probably going to have to be brought in to meet up with the other portion of it. Now there's kind of like a peak in the middle of it on the top where I think the face should be, which the face side that I'm choosing is the side that I was able to see some of that honeycomb color coming through. So yeah, I find it's really most beneficial for me to grind in the sides most of the time to get it into a puck shape before I shape the dome. Now you can bring in the sides while you're shaping the dome, and the only reason why I don't do that is just because I want to make sure to get the size as tall as possible, because I really like a high dome. I mean, who doesn't? So this is kind of what I'm talking about. You can see that that part's thicker and then the sides are a bit thinner. So at this point I'm still gonna have to bring in the sides, but this is the size of where I drew the circles for it, so it will end up a little bit smaller, but that's no big deal. It's common enough that I end up shaping away more of the stone than that. That was more of a optimistic sort of a draw out there. And so here I'm flattening out the back because I have that part that is really nice and flat, and so I want to take advantage of that and make that flat part the back, as well as there just not being the most bright color from that side. And so once I brought in that back, I'm kind of working on the portions on the face that peak more, and I'm kind of flattening them out. So I did end up bringing in the sides a bit more, but at this point, once I got it to this size of a puck, I wanted to bring in the sides while I'm doming it to kind of make the biggest stone that I can. Now I have that huge peak kind of in the middle, and it's really important to grind that down and make both of those, make all of the parts around it kind of match with each other as far as the very face of it goes. And then I went around the edges of the stone to kind of round out those parts to meet with the shallower sides, kind of creating a dome. And I am holding the stone with my thumb and my index finger, as well as my ring, or my middle finger, and I'm kind of working this around in a circular motion to get that rounded face. So this is what the stone looks like before I hit it with the Nova points, and you can see there's still some divots in there, there's lots of scratches from it, but I did get a nice general shape, and you could definitely see that the color had totally left this stone when it got wet. And as you guys have seen, some stones that I work on do let you see the color while you're working on it, but not this one. So I'm working out those scratches and trying to work down that divot with the Nova point here, and I really need to be careful at this stage, making sure that I check that all the scratches are taken out of it. And I'm still using that same motion of kind of pinching the stone and pushing it around between my fingers to get all the way around it. And I'm kind of starting in circular motions towards the face, and then I'm bringing it towards the side, and then as well as bringing it from the side and moving towards the face to create really nice rounded edges. Now the divot in the side of this stone, on the side of the face of the stone, was pretty deep, and I actually did not get it completely out with the Nova points, but that's okay because the roughest polishing paste that I use is rough enough to get out divots and scratches, and there's a little bit of it can be more forgiving if you just know where you're working with it. Now at this stage, if you're working on the stone with your hands, it does get very slippery. And as you can see, I dropped it here. I usually have a camera in the end of my videos where I show every time that I dropped it, and of course there will be one in this. And it's okay to drop your stone. You don't need to worry about dropping it as long as you're able to find it, especially in the polishing grits. If you're working with your hands, you're going to drop it a lot, and it's totally okay. Don't stress. But yeah, that circular motion of working around the face really helps to create a nice, even, beautiful dome on the stone. But I also make sure to, as you can see here, I run the Dremel along the side of the stone, and then I flip it around the opposite way, and then go around the edges of the stone again. And this just helps to create a really nice, even sides of the stone. And then with the back of it as well, I just work in circular motions, kind of spinning it around in my fingers, sometimes taking it away from the Dremel to spin it around, sometimes spinning it around while it's touching the Dremel, just to get it really nice and flat. Now this stone did something amazing. Do you guys see those sparkles? So the color's not back yet. This isn't totally absorbed in water, but I've never seen this before. Let me know in the comments if you guys have. But it looks like there's glitter inside of it. It's like little silver sparkles. And I had something similar to this in a previous stone, but never this like glittery and flashy. If you know what this is, or if you've seen it before, let me know down in the comments. I'm just blown away. It's so beautiful. And then this is it when the color came back to it. And as you can see, it's a little bit of a rolling flash, but the flash will come out more as we polish it. And you can definitely tell it's not totally polished yet. So we're moving on to my polishing pastes here. I'm using those same techniques of spinning it around in my fingers and pinching it, but it's gonna be really, really slick at this point. So if you are somebody who does damping and is comfortable with that, definitely dop before you get to the polishing paste. I have a confidence using my hands with this, but here you can see that I'm really grinding away on that one side of the stone, and that is because there's a little divot there. But I was able to get that divot out, and I was able to get it really smooth to a mirror polish. But yeah, you guys can kind of see how I'm holding it, pinching it down with my thumb, and then working in a circular motion. That's how I'm able to carve these stones with my hands without using a damping stick. Is just because I'm able to get a really nice firm grip on the stone, and I don't stress out about it when I drop it. I think it's fun because I put that in the end of my videos, but I have definitely dropped stones and lost them, never found them again, and that's always disappointing. One of my last dark opals that I cut before I started the channel, I dropped it, I lost it, I never found it. It was a natural dark honeycomb. I'm still wondering where that is. So if I ever find that, it'll probably be full of oil, and I'll have to do something to get the oil out of it. So that's definitely something that you can expect with Ethiopian opal. If you drop it and you lose it, it's gonna absorb oils from something, and it's gonna get clear, and you're gonna have to soak it in some acetone. And I have been nervous about doing that in the past, but I did it this week with a pendant that I had lost, that I found again. And I soaked it in acetone, and it was totally fine. And I got all the colors back, and it was great. So you can save an Ethiopian opal from the oil inside of it. Heaven on Earth Opals has a really great video about it. I can make a video about it if you guys want that. Let me know down in the comments. But yeah, you would think that the oil that is part of this polishing paste would absorb into the stone and discolor it. And I had worried that that might happen sometime, but that still has not happened. These polishing pastes are safe as can be for Ethiopian. And they are from Kent Supply over on Etsy. I'll leave Suva, Lapidary, or no, not Suva. I'll leave the Nova Point down below, the link to the Nova Points, and I'll also leave the link to the polishing paste, both in the description below, so that if you guys want to do that and you don't have like professional gear like me, or just using a Dremel, it's pretty cool. You should go check it out. Really great for like low budget shaping. And yeah, so you do end up polishing your fingers quite a bit when you're doing this. As you can see, my index finger is starting to get red, and that's because I grind down on it a lot. But if you're new to opal cutting, you might not know that your fingers will build up calluses to this. And I remember when I first started shaping opal, my fingers were bleeding left and right. But now that I've been shaping opals for a few years, my fingers don't bleed anymore. So yeah, if you end up starting shaping opal and you got bloody fingers and you're like, oh man, this is really discouraging, just wait for your fingers to heal, they'll be stronger, and you'll be able to shape once again. So, as I said in my last video, but I'll say it again, I stopped using cerium oxide on my opals because it was absorbing into my stones and kind of giving them a hazy finish. So if you use cerium oxide on your Ethiopian opals and you have good luck with that, that's great. I don't necessarily. But I do find that the polish that I get from these polishing pastes when I go up to the 0.25 micron here it's absolutely stunning. So this is what the stone looks like when it's finished.
Ooh, yeah!
And you can see a awesome rolling flash on it. There's fuchsias again. I love those fuchsias. It's got good yellow. There's a little bit of turquoise in there. Yeah, definitely got a rolling honeycomb on it. Could definitely see several different colors at a time. If I made this a flatter face, I might be able to get more honeycomb bubbles visual all at once, but there is still those sparkles in there. So can you see those freaking sparkles, man? Those are crazy. I love it. I'm so happy that they ended up in the finished product. And it's just, I'm just over the moon with this one, guys. It's so beautiful. I love, love, love the sparkles. They don't look hollow to me. I don't see little rainbows in the sparkles. I really just see some silver. But it could be that I'm just not analyzing it strong enough and it's just sort of a pinfire. But nevertheless, I've never seen such a glittery opal, and you can see on the back here there's that little piece in the corner that does like this oil slick thing, and it's spectacular. The back here definitely was not the part to make the face, so it worked out. We chose the right side, and yeah, I feel like I was able to save a lot of the size of this one. So when we weigh out the final stone, the final weight of it is 4.38 carats, so we were able to really save a decent amount of this stone. When you look at the rough piece, it was gorgeous, it was clean, you could see all the colors in it, it had a natural flat back, and it was really just a dreamy, rough piece. I had had it for a while, and just like I've had all my rough stones I've cut on here for a while, and I really wanted to make sure that I did it justice, cut it right. We ended up losing 6.26 carats, so we did lose more than half, but we were able to save just under half, so, I mean, heck yes. And look at this finished stone. I mean, it's gorgeous. It would make a beautiful pendant, or whatever else somebody wants to do with it. But the sparkles, the glitters, I'm so happy about those glitters. It just blows my mind. I've never seen that before, and it is so special, so special. It's like a little galaxy, like little stars in there. It's spectacular, and here's every time I dropped it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and give me a like if you did indeed enjoy. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I've been posting weekly recently, and I might end up keeping that up. Share this video with your friends. If you have a community of people that might care about this, I'd really appreciate that. Turn on notifications if your notifications aren't on, and I'll see you guys next time I feel like making a video. Later.